Okay, so welcome, all of you from various parts of the internet to this tour. We're going to talk about our BFA in digital photography program, a program that we're extremely proud of, which has been developed over the last 2 years and which we are looking to build a cohort for to have more students join in the fall. The unique thing about our program is the program is now really an option for students who are currently enrolled in the undergraduate certificate or an associate degree. Each of those programs will transfer credits, so you could proceed from those programs on into the BFA. And indeed, if you're an associate degree grad, you could return, and in only 4 semesters, and you hear a lot about this, in only 4 semesters, you could turn your associate degree into a BFA. There are some unique benefits to the BFA level, which we're going to talk about. My colleagues, let me introduce my colleagues, because these are the stars of the show as far as I'm concerned. So we have, on this call, we have Felicia Keiselhorst, who's been our department head for photography for several years. Felicia, would you like to say hello?
Hey everyone, I'm Flea. I'm the department head of Felicia, Flea, either one. I recognize Felicia. I'm not sure, Christopher doesn't have a last name here, so I may or may not know you. Everybody else, hey, great to meet you. I'm excited for this tour and very excited for the BFA program.
That's great. And we also have, as a presenter, Dr. Meryl Epstein, who's a switch hitter. And by that, I mean, she's just multi-talented. She's got degrees in graphic design, photography. What can't she do? So Meryl, would you like to say hello to people on
Sure.
tour?
Oh yeah, welcome everyone. We're really excited to share this program. I think it's great. I wish I had found this program because I would have wanted it. So I hope you do too. So welcome.
That's great. So that is a principle for us at Sessions. We're trying to create creative programs that we would like to have taken when we were going through our art school or creative learning experiences. And
Yes.
photography program is no different than that. We're going to start off, the general agenda for the tour is we're going to have 3 segments to this. Dr. Epstein is going to talk first about what makes this BFA program rather unique as a program. Then Felicia is going to talk about what it takes to become a professional photographer, which is an important thing. I think many of us have gone through the stage of being a student and developing skills and then wondering how do we turn those skills into professional practice. And so Felicia is going to talk a little bit about that. Then I will talk about the program structure for the BFA and just kind of give some insight into what makes this program a little bit different from our undergraduate certificate and our associate degree students if you're considering moving on from those levels into the BFA track. Okay, great. So we're going to get started right now. And I'm going to hand you over to Meryl, who's going to tell you about what's unique about this BFA program.
All right. Well, as the slide says, it was developed with you, meaning our students in mind. We built it, it's a complementary program to our AOS program. Our AOS, for those of you who are familiar, is a 72 credit program. And so for a student if they complete the AOS portion of the program, they just roll into, as Gordon mentioned, 4 more semesters and you have a BFA, which is pretty incredible. If you count from beginning to end, someone can complete the program in 10 semesters or translated in years, 3 years and a third, which is pretty awesome. It's a customizable program, meaning we know students sometimes want to be a professional photographer, maybe fine art, maybe they want to have a certain niche in professional photography, such as product or perhaps fashion or wedding or other kind of event photography. There's a myriad of tracks that someone could pursue. And so those projects within these courses, the way we developed it, are open-ended, so you can really meet your professional goals. And the next point, real world scenarios. That's really what it is. It's preparing you to think like a professional. And of course, the end product that we're always focused on is your professional portfolio, as well as those professional skills, so that you can have that career that you want. We're going to help you build and prepare your mindset, as well as build on your technical skills. Next slide.
Very good.
There's Felicia again. Program outcomes. I am not going to read this little type to you. It is in our catalog, but every degree program has to have program outcomes. In other words, how are you going to go somewhere unless you know where you're going? So this is the map. These are the skills, the outcomes that we're trying, that we're presenting to you that you can develop over time. And at the end of the program, we also assess portfolios in relation to these outcomes. Are students achieving these outcomes, which is really important to us because sometimes you have to adjust things, tweak things, but it's always in the forefront. Every one of your course syllabi will have the program outcomes to help guide the process that we're trying to focus on for you. Next. All right, woohoo! Again, I'm not reading the small type, but this is to give you an idea. Again, if you want to look at this in detail, it's on our website. But what we have here on the left is year 1, year 2, which is the AOS program. And then the last 4 semesters. And what's really cool about it, and again, you get to work with great instructors, including Felicia, in that first semester of year 3 is semester 7. And there's a course called Project Management Workflow. And what it is that the instructor and the student will review their existing portfolio, talk about the career goals for the student, and then look at all the courses in the remainder of the program to identify what kind of projects they might want to pursue. Sometimes students go, well, I want to get the BFA, but I don't know what track I want. That's fine, because we've provided, especially in semester 7, some varied courses that produce and develop and present a lot of different kinds of work. So that might inspire you. A lot of times, based on my own experience, when I took particular courses in undergraduate and even graduate school, I was like, whoa, it opened up a whole new avenue for me. So don't feel like you have to have goals. If you have goals, it's great. But if not, they'll develop over time. And we're here to inspire you to find what you want and pursue what you want. So that's it.
That's right. So there's a lot of creative opportunity in those last 4 semesters, that if you're an AOS student going on to BFA, that are the 4 semesters between you and a BFA.
That's right.
I just want to spend this part of the tour just spending a brief 5 or 10 minutes talking about what makes the BFA different from the other programs in a way. We've got terrific programs at all levels. You've got the undergraduate certificate, which focuses on core skills. You've got the AOS degree, which offers a degree experience and gives you general education courses balanced out with your creative courses. But in designing the BFA, as Meryl was talking about earlier, we really thought about how to make this program the ideal finishing school for any student that wanted to take it to the 4-year level and earn a BFA. So in this part, I'm going to talk about some of the things that make these courses different if you're considering continuing from the AOS level or the UC level into the BFA program. One thing that makes it different is, at Sessions, we value flexibility above all. We've got students from all around the country and around the world, and typically our courses are asynchronous, so you're able to work in your own schedule. You've got weekly deadlines, but there's not a lot of face-to-face interaction. It's a flexibility that's really useful for our students, enables them to complete these programs on a very flexible basis. Well, for the BFA level, the upper level, we really decided that we needed a little more face-to-face to be included at that level of the program to really help the student bring their work to a higher level. So in the upper level courses, each of the courses, in addition to in-depth lectures and creative briefs and research guidelines and all the things that will support your learning, there is a certain amount of Zoom meetings. There will be 2 Zoom meetings per term, one at the beginning and one at the end. At the beginning, you get the chance to discuss your projects with your instructor, and at the end, you get the chance to present them to your instructor and to your classmates. And there's also an office hour in the middle of the program. So in each of the courses, you do have chances to work with your faculty, discuss things and present your projects. And we feel that these are important skills and really something that's going to add something that's unique to students who continue into that level. In addition to that, one thing that's I think a distinguisher for this level is this idea that Meryl talked about the program to be somewhat customizable to the learning goals of the student. There is a chance within these courses to really pick different areas of expertise, and you could be going deeper on something that's really your passion, or you could be expanding, getting out of your comfort zone and exploring some other medium in a deep way. The course that we're looking at on screen right now is called Photographic Genres, and it gives students a dizzying array of options. They could explore commercial photography, food photography, fashion photography, editorial photography. There's a whole range of assignments, and you get to choose your own adventure. So right at the beginning of the upper level track, you've got some opportunities to go beyond. Supporting that, I think one feature of the courses that you will discover if you go into the upper level is that the courses present projects which are completed over several weeks. So with a photography project, for example, we've got several courses where the project occurs over a 5-week period, giving you the chance to plan your photo shoot, execute it, maybe shoot it again, and edit it before you're finished. And so this gives you a chance to develop a project that's more professionally focused. It maybe has more images or maybe more polished or better researched project at the end of the day. And we're all about helping you trying to develop a really great portfolio at the end of it. This is a slide that they tried to persuade me not to include, but one aspect, because this is a BFA program, is that we really want you to do your research. And by research, I don't mean running around the library at 11 o'clock at night. I mean getting into the work of recognized photographers, understanding what professional practices are, trying to connect your coursework to what other leading practitioners are doing in the field. And you get a chance to do that because the projects are a little longer. So maybe you could explore a famous photographer like let's see, Dawood Bey or Megan Rapinoff or Carrie Mae Weems, and try to figure out what their work is about and try to connect your work to that. And that's the kind of thing that can make you stand out as a professional. Finally, one thing that I'm really delighted about is at the upper level, thanks to the fact that we have a BFA, we're now able to add more talented faculty to the already talented faculty we have. So if you enroll in the BFA, you'll get the chance to study with additional photographers who have different perspectives. Many of you will be fortunate to have already worked with Dr. Taz Talley and Felicia, who provide this wonderfully personal, detailed feedback and supportive feedback on your work. Other photographers that are involved in the upper level include Jill Mott, Melanie Fiander, Vivian Spiegelman, and Dr. Meryl Epstein herself, who, as I mentioned, is a talented photographer. So there's a lot of chance to learn from these creative, talented pros and use their expertise to further your work. So with that, I'm going to get closer to wrapping up the tour. I do want to say we're trying to build a cohort for next month. August 22nd is the start of our fall term, and we'd love to see some more BFA photographers enroll in this cohort. And part of the purpose of this tour is to give everyone the information that they need to make that happen if they like to do that. So I'm going to hand you over for this part of the tour to our Senior Director of Admissions, Jessica De La Garza, who's here, and she's going to explain some of the things that are available to you if you're interested. And we'll have a Q&A section shortly after that. So if you have questions, please write them down, save them up, and we'll get a chance to answer them. Jessica, let me hand over to you.
Yeah, so as you guys know, I've probably spoken to most, if not all of you in attendance at some point or another in email or on the phone. So really glad to see you guys all here. In the admissions department, our goal and our job is to sort of just guide you through the process and make it as smooth and as easy as possible. At the beginning of the admissions process, we are going to explain a lot of the same information that was explained here, just so you are set up for classes, you know what to expect, you know what to expect of the admissions process itself. And then we're going to break it down each week until we get into your enrollment, basically. So we'll take you through everything step by step. Currently, we do have grants available for AOS grads. So people who have completed an AOS program, in any major, if they're looking to enroll into any of the BFA programs, they are awarded a grant automatically of $50 per credit, which comes out to something like up to $500 per semester. For everybody else, we have these creative scholarships, which we can link to you at any time. You can find them on the website, just, in the little search bar, put in scholarship, it'll come right up for you. We always encourage folks to apply to those scholarships. We don't get a ton every semester, so your chances are pretty good. If you put in a little bit of effort and put in that application, please go for it. And then of course you can contact us anytime. You can email us, you can come into the website on chat. You can call us. Again, I think most of you probably already all know this. I've seen people in attendance here come in through these areas. So anytime you guys have any questions, anybody on the admissions team can help you out.
Great, thank you.
Next slide.
And the next slide is Q&A. So that now we have the chance to answer almost any question. We have many people here which know a lot about our programs and about the missions. So if you have a question about the BFA, if you have a question about getting started, missions, or if you'd like follow up, on financial aid, I'm going to give anyone the opportunity to ask questions. Now we could unmute you and you can ask the question directly, or you could type a question in the chat field and we'll answer it directly through there. So please let me know if you have questions. We've got Christopher, we've got Daisy, we've got Rebecca, we've got Wendy, we've got Charla, we've got Felicia Borshing. If any of you folks have questions, what would you like to know? What can we do to illuminate you on something about the program?
I'm trying to think of any FAQs, common questions we get in admissions too. Although I think, Gordon, you covered quite a bit. You and Felicia explained quite a bit about the program.
I have one FAQ. There's the question of, is there a credit transfer? Yes, there is credit transfer for this program. The fact that we have BFAs now means that there are many students who are bringing extensive credit transfer to us. We have, students who've completed BFAs or associate degrees elsewhere who are able to apply many credits to the BFA. And our credit transfer policy allows us to accept up to 50% of the credits for the program from another institution, provided those courses are, of course, similar in nature and scope to the courses that we're transferring in. So if you've got credits from other schools, please provide them as part of your application and we'll assess that.
And that goes for the AOS grads as well. Because of the new classes that have been added to the BFA, you might have already given us your transcripts when you applied to the AOS in the first place and had a credit transfer review and gotten some transfer credits in, but you might have more now that there are more classes added, things like accounting for creatives. Maybe you had an accounting class in a previous program that didn't make it in the last time and it can now. So that's definitely something to discuss with your admissions advisor as well.
Absolutely.
One other thing too that Felicia had brought up, and that was sort of being an engaged student and networking with students. We have a Facebook and alumni group that you can join at any time. Just let admissions know that that's something, or your student advisors if you're an enrolled student, and we can send you the link to that group. I see people going back and forth in it all the time, asking questions about projects to their fellow students. I have seen occasionally some people come up, kind of like Felicia was talking about, that are like, oh, I have this job and I would like to reach out to my fellow students, see if somebody would like to fill the position. So it does go off. So I mean, definitely make sure that you're there as well.
That's great. Well, I think we'll provide another minute or 2 minutes. It seems like we've stunned everyone into submission. But I also want to say, if there may be questions that you have after this tour, so you're thinking about it, you're kind of reflecting on the choices, and you have a question, it might be about admissions, might be about financial aid, might be about one of the payment options that Jessica talked about, or it might be about the program. How does it work? How do we customize courses at the upper level? What does it mean to choose my path, et cetera, et cetera? We'd be happy to answer those questions. We're looking for talented students to enroll in this level. And so we're going all out to try to maximize enrollment and give you guys a program that will really put you through your paces.
If at any point anybody here or anybody who watches it afterward has any questions, always reach out to admissions. If we don't know the exact answer, we'll reach out to somebody in another department to get an answer for you pretty quickly.
I've got a question from someone who was let's see, maybe I'll have a direct question.
Well, actually, I want to add something, Gordon, if I can.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
One of the things when we were talking about the transfer credit and stuff, one of the other things, I know many of you are already in sessions, yay, but some colleges just sort of create gen eds that are off the shelf. And one of the things that we did with the BFA, and also we already did it with the AOS, is we identify general education courses that will appeal to visual artists like yourselves. And so it's pretty compelling. So for example, one of our really exciting gen eds that we've added is cultural anthropology. You go, anthropology, but it's really cool because it talks about, you really examine other cultures, and as photographers, for sure, you see other cultures and you think about how costume and manners and culture inform image making. Not just what it looks like, but how you engage with people that are different than yourselves. And developing that empathy and engagement is really valuable. As Felicia mentioned earlier, being a professional means being kind and empathetic and engaged with your client as a human, even if they're different than you. And that's just one example of what we do. Again, accounting for creatives. You're like, what? Accounting? But it's great because it helps gear. I mean, if you want to make money being a photographer, perhaps, you learn how to manage your business. How do you know if you're making money so that you can pay for your equipment and continue to follow your passion? So I just share that with you, that it's that aside from all the other great courses, Sessions is very unique in that way.
Talking about money, we do have a question from Rebecca in the chat.
Yay.
Yeah, she asks, I have a question about the payment plans. How do I enroll in that? So, Jessica.
Yeah, so payment plans. You can absolutely do payment plans. Typically in admissions, what'll happen is you'll apply for the program initially. If you have any transfer credits that you want brought in, those will be reviewed. And then once you've been accepted and those transfer credits have been applied, we know, okay, so here's how many credits you have left to complete your program. Let's put you in contact with our bursar department, or if you're using financial aid, it would be the financial aid department. And someone in that department will sit down with you over the phone, and they'll go over your finances and your tuition in detail with you. They're going to go over any scholarships or grants that you might be bringing in, financial aid or payment plans, and they'll come up with a plan that works for you. Typically, payment plans are going to be paid per semester over the course of the semester, which goes about 4 months for a regular semester. And so they'll kind of break that down with you. And like I said, just set something up that works for you. And at that point, they'll hand you back over to your admissions advisors to go over next steps.
Great, thank you, thank you. Oh, we have another question from Charlotte. This is great. Great information. She says, I might try to start the BFA once I finish the program. I guess she's in a current program. Or should I do that now? I'm a vet in the V and RE program. Is there a difference in classes?
Yeah, that's a good question. So if you're using VRNE, this is another thing. You can do it either way. You can complete the program that you're in, or you can move over. Typically with VRNE, it's going to really be up to you and your VRC, your counselor at the VA. What you'll probably want to do is kind of approach admissions and your VRC first, discuss your options, see what's going to work best for you. There are going to be differences in classes depending on what program you're in. So like, for example, if you're in a UC program currently, you're in a 24 credit program. If you go into the BFA, you're going to be adding in more credits. So depending on what UC you're in, if you're UC photography, a lot of the classes you're taking are just going to carry right over into your BFA program, but then you add on more. So ultimately, I'd say for that, on a more like unique level, you'd want to reach out to your admissions advisor and your BRC.
Thank you. Yeah, so there is always the opportunity to transfer programs or complete a program and then go into another one. And, you know, you definitely want to discuss that with admissions and maybe with your advisor. Every student who's enrolled in a program at Sessions has a designated student advisor. And, you know, depending on your situation, it might be great to complete your program, earn your credential for that, and then move on. Or it might be better if you're really changing your subject and your focus to try to move into the new program as soon as you can. So either of those can be possible.
Yeah, if you want to, Charlotte, you can just reach out to me after the program. You can email me, jessica@sessions.edu, or you can just call right into admissions. I'll be here for a little bit. I see another question. Is there an application fee? There is an application fee for the BFA, and the process is going to be much the same as the associate's degree. So you'll be submitting portfolio examples, you'll be submitting an essay, your transcripts, and then there's a $75 application fee. And again, this is something admissions will take through you, almost like we have a checklist for you that we go through bit by bit until all of it's done. And we just kind of keep up with you, and we keep it going until you've completed all those items, and then we send it along to the acceptance committee.
Okay, we have another question in here. Are equipment requirements for the BFA different from the AOS or the UC program? Yeah, that's a good question. I think the basic camera requirements, would you like to answer that, Felicia?
I think I should take that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically the equipment requirements are the same because you need photography equipment to do the AOS or the UC. But since the BFA is gearing on getting you out there into the photography world, this is a good opportunity to invest in professional type stuff. So for example, in the photo lighting class that we have, is that it just AOS, or do UC take that too? I'm not sure. There's a photo lighting and planning course.
Yeah,
they both take. Okay, great. So we require that you have a reflector, but you can pretty much DIY everything else. If you don't have a flash, you can use your pop-up flash. If you don't have a light kit, you can use a lamp. So there'll definitely be more encouragement to like have stuff so that you can bring your work up. But I don't think there's anything that will be actually required necessarily. But to be a professional, you do require things that every genre will be different though. Like a landscapist really doesn't need like a big studio lighting setup if they're doing landscapes. But a portraiture, like somebody who's specializing in portraiture, is going to need a lot more of that studio type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Great, that's a good answer. It's an opportunity to sort of transition, as it were, as you're completing your studies,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
to higher gear if you have the budget for that.
and just like in the photo lighting and planning course, like the professors in all of these courses, they know photography. So if you say, you know, I really want to do this one thing and I don't have the budget for it, we're going to work with you to help you figure out how you can do that on a more affordable level. Maybe not directly in the class, maybe more in like a private message situation. But you know, our goal is to help you achieve whatever you need, and we've got the experience to help you figure out what that is.
Great. We have another question from Charlotte for Felicia. I got your response about lighting equipment. She said, I think you forgot to add a link to your example. Can you send me that link when you get a chance? She's busy. She says, I'm burnt out working. I haven't had a chance to respond. So
Is this regarding class? I think this is a class question. I'm going to make myself a little note to look up our thread, because I don't remember the specifics on your question, Charlotte.
Right. So we'll address that after the tour. Great. Awesome. I'm so glad everyone had a question. Questions and answers, you know, that's what Q&A is all about. So so I want to thank everybody for being here. I'll just give you another couple of minutes. Does anyone have any final questions? If we don't have final questions, we're going to wrap up in the interest of time. You all been very kind to give your time tonight and hear what we've had to say. And I want to thank our talented staff here. I want to thank Felicia and Meryl and Jessica for presenting on their areas and giving insight into this awesome program. I would love to see you guys in this program. Yes. You people in the tour, taking your photography to the next level. So, you know, from my perspective, that's my encouragement, is that I want to see talented people succeed. So with that, I think it's good night from all of us. Thank you for attending the tour, and we hope to see you in the classroom soon. And if you have any questions, please follow up with us through admissions or through to the education team. And thank you again.
Drop your name in the chat if you want your t-shirt.
Again, yes, t-shirt, give us that name. We gotta figure out. Someone will follow up with you and ask you your size, and don't be offended, because, you know, too small or too big, it's no use to you. So if you like a t-shirt, please leave your name. So great, thank you. We're going to close the tour in a minute, and thank you all, and I wish you a very good night.
Good night.
Good night.